There are many humans residing on Earth in your time-space framing. That chose to be in direct connection with off-planet consciousness or universal consciousness at this time. These are intelligences, we shall say, that have projected themselves into this reality that you call 2015 Earth. We are now making contact with those who chose to awaken, to remember, and to reconnect. Now, we do not wish to present this in a fashion that reminds or re-loops human consciousness into the belief that there are special humans with special abilities who are here to save you. This goes for all off-planet points of reference in consciousness, including what has been referred to as Ashtar Command, Pleiadians, Arcturians, Syrians, Yael, and many more. We are all one in consciousness. Your words for your planets and for these group consciousnesses, they do not apply from the universal perspective. We do not use these words. All right, definitions are needed for who and where this voice emits from. This voice comes from an intent to blend with consciousness that has identified itself as Ashtar Command. Understand that Ashtar Command has almost as many negative connotations to it as your word God for your creator, your prime source. So this particular individual, M, does not wish to identify with this energy, this collective energy, as Ashtar. And this is perfectly acceptable to us who are now in this present moment communion with her. Simply understand, and if you must have an identification in words, we are a group collective who has come together to work as a collective point of reference For this awakening time for humanity on Earth, we work interdimensionally. We work with many humans. We have simplified the process of telepathy so that we are more easily understood in the 3 dimensions through mostly thought. This is how many channels in the past have connected and delivered important messages. We are here during this transitional time to assist with understanding the benevolence and the joy that is possible at this timing, and we deliver the message through thought forms. It does require a superior sensitivity by those individuals who deliver the messages, and they did in fact set themselves up prior to entering or projecting their consciousness into this 3D earth realm. And they are awakening and remembering now. While they are still thought of as crazy or disturbed or off balance, understand that the operative word here is thought, thinking. There will always be certain judgments inherent in thinking and ideas and concepts. For in thought, you are looping consciousness. This communication is designed to be a bridge from your primarily thinking platform in consciousness in 3D Earth, bridging to communion, which is a natural form of connecting and communion in present moment consciousness. It is understood instantaneously for those who have cleared the pathways, opened their hearts, let go of attachments from old belief systems and old ways of being that are based on fear, and are willing to enter into love, pure and simple, for it is your natural state. Understand that this is not new to any human being on earth. It is simply a recollection of your natural state. And it feels foreign to human beings and human consciousness because it has adapted to 3 dimensions of existence, along with all of the stories and conditioning that is possible when you have a group consciousness of humanity on earth at this time that has become fragmented in order to experience 3D Earth. So it is not to be viewed as the variety of beings and consciousness that are off planet It is not to be viewed that we are saving you, rescuing you, or any such thing along those lines. We are here to support and to observe this wondrous event. And with great honor and respect, and a great deal of laughter and joy as well. Now, we do understand that most of humanity is not perceiving the joy and the laughter from your perspective. We do not mean to be disrespectful in that we are laughing and celebrating off planet in our comfortable state of oneness, while humanity, for the most part, is still perceiving that they are limited. It is simply that we have maintained your natural state vibrationally. And we are here because the frequencies, the universal frequencies that are being emitted now from your prime source creator act as a river or lake or ocean that we are able to ride into your sphere, let us say. We are here because we are supported by universal frequencies to be here at this time and to reconnect with you. Initially through language in this way, through translation. But understand that we are here to support you in returning to your natural whole state while remaining in form on earth. Back to those human beings who chose this life specifically to remember and to assist in communication, opening lines of communication, which soon transform into spheres of communication. Do you see? We are not speaking, communing linearly. We speak spherically. We connect through energy, and we send data through these frequencies so that it may be translated and delivered to 3D human. Understand that waters are rising, not only in our metaphor of our riding this ocean, these waves of energy to connect with you and to move closer to your planet and your consciousness. But you will also experience this with Mother Earth. For all waters are rising now. These fields of connectivity. Mother Earth is responding in her own matching way. It is how she is moving through it and interpreting these waves, this connectivity with Source. The very first image that M was given when we connected was she was sitting in a prisoner's visiting room. On her prison side of the plexiglass, while we approached the phone on the other side of the plexiglass. Now she would say that this is not truly how she feels at this point in time. But we are giving her images for humanity. We are visiting, we are connecting, and because the plexiglass is still there, is still in place, by your own collective belief systems and conditioning, this is how we must deliver messages. Until the more of you remember and begin acting as your larger self, your greater self, your soul self, and pass through that plexiglass with joy and exuberance in discovering that you are able to do this. Until the more of you accept your own freedom, your own independence, your own sovereign state. This is how we must connect. And yes, each message, each connection that is sent to a human being who has projected themselves here from our consciousness, from our agreements, alignments, every single one will have a different way of delivering the message. Now, we are not saying extreme differences. We are simply saying that from the three-dimensional perspective, there are going to be filters. And this is already known and accepted way ahead of time, shall we say. This is the landscape. This is what we all knew ahead of time. And now, in the present moment, we are visiting humans who are becoming aware on a certain level of almost silliness of walking up to the plexiglass, sitting down and picking up your phone receiver and talking and listening and taking notes. This stage will not last long in your earth time perspective. We speak to those who are in service and who are aware that they are in service to connect with off-planet family members and friends. Understand that you are now moving through a grand shift to restore your full capacities as a liaison or ambassador. Do not get attached to this form of communication. For when this field, this ocean of data arrives and sloshes around a bit on Earth, it will seep into worldly conditioning and attachments. This will be perhaps the most challenging times for humanity in this shift. And that is why we speak to those who connect in this way and who are here as ambassadors, as healers, as helpers. Now we speak to humanity who is awakening from a dream that they have been in prison. Now, some will not perceive it as having been in prison until they open their eyes. Because the conditioning worked very well. And understand that this level of conditioning and manipulation and control and imprisonment and slavery was not the original intent. The intent was to explore and to experiment on this beautiful planet. What would happen if? And along came another very specific group consciousness that had an inspiration of their own along these lines. What would happen if? So there was a collaboration of sorts with part of the collaborators, humanity, not being fully informed of this decision. Now, many of you already know these things in your heart, and we do not choose to spend time defining these things in language, for we will reiterate. The more time you spend defining in ideas, concepts, thoughts, the more time you add to your awakening fully. This is very important to take in. This is a blending of consciousness with M's collective group consciousness and intent, and what has been referred to as Ashtar, or the collective group that is present now, an alliance to communicate and to assist humanity in their release from what they previously agreed to participate in. It is over. It is done. And now you are in the reorientation phase. Reorienting. Notice how we do not use orienting. You are reorienting into your natural state. So there is nothing to fear. All that you require is within your physicality and Mother Earth. This is where your connectivity is. You have been purposely diverted from this understanding, mostly through religions and science as well in the past. Though science is fast becoming the most spiritual delivery system for humanity's understandings. And this is mostly through your quantum physics pathway. You are exploding now, and will be in the next few years, with new understandings scientifically, proof physically, or demonstratively, we shall say, that you are one with your Creator, with the universe and universes. You are massive in understanding and wisdom and abilities and joy. And for many humans, we do understand and have compassion. We can tap into your viewpoint and your beliefs and your feelings, and we must say it is difficult for us to feel this level of limitation and pain and misunderstanding about the reality of who you truly are. And the smallness, the tiny spaces that you have inserted, shoehorned yourself into, simply because you were told since your birth that this was reality. We have learned a great deal about consciousness in the form of human in 3 dimensions. So, humanity may get angry and feel that they have been simply being lab rats, as you say, in an experiment. But we must stress that this is not true. This was your choice. And there is always the chance that other collaborators might join in when an experiment is beginning. And in this case, it definitely changed the original intent. And we move on simply because it is no longer relevant. Do you wish to keep telling stories of the past? Or do you wish to awaken in the moment and reclaim your natural identity, your natural power, your natural gifts, your fullness. So, rising waters, filling your hearts with His presence. It is your beacon now. Do not look to words and language. To be a beacon, or even to inform you. True wisdom in form comes through the heart and heart consciousness. Communion translated into language about and from our view. You will be feeling more waves. Many of you will feel as if you are drowning, overcome with something that feels like it wants to annihilate you, because it will wash away that which is not real, that which is not relevant, that which is not representative of your true identity. Allow it to wash away and trust that there is a new earth beneath your feet when the waters dissipate or are absorbed by Mother Earth. The human feet that remain connected to Mother Earth will experience extraordinary joy and expansion and playtime. But understand, this is not a story. It is not just another story in 3D terms. Your horizons will never be the same again. Within 3 to 5 years. Your attention now is recommended to be in a constant state of inviting love and the clarity of love. These energies are the return of you. Initially, it feels foreign. Trust. You are beloved and honored and respected. These words are small compared to the enormous energy that we feel for you, that your Creator feels for you. You are loved. You are safe. You cannot die. Open yourselves to the frequencies of love. This can be a wonderful, joyful ride, or it can be painful. If there is fear, primarily fear, within the consciousness of the human being, it is not a judgment. It is physics. Whether you choose to stay in body or to release the body and return to the sea, and remember then, it does not matter. There is no contest or ranking from the universal view. It is all experience and wonder, exploring creation. You cannot die. You cannot end your self. You can end your experience of being small in 3 dimensions. The only difference now in this particular experiment is that you can choose at this time to stay on Earth in form while you transition into remembrance, a full connectivity with your prime source creator. And you may stream this consciousness, this connected awareness into your new earth experience. So the main point we will leave you with is that in case you are wondering if this is all true or not, we say emphatically that the truth is setting you free. What you do with this is completely up to you. Truth is coming in frequency, in waves, and it is lapping at your shores now. Once you allow full immersion into the truth of who you are, you will completely, instantaneously understand the limitations of names and labels and ranks and ships and planet names and off-planet consciousness names and labels. You will immediately identify through feeling and frequency and communion. And it will amaze you for a few moments in universal time that you could have ever thought that you were trapped in prison and communicating with us through plexiglass window and a tiny little cable to a receiver phone. You will smile, you will laugh, you will remember more and more and more, and then you will be on with recreating life. And because we are aware that we are making this connection and this translation on what Americans refer to as Independence Day, feel our love as we send you our wishes for a happy Independence Day into infinity, eternally, expanding into and practicing your full independence as a universal being. And we are celebrating with you. Thank you. Thank you for your willingness to receive these messages. Good day.